morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anybody who's watching on replay. I'm Nancy Hetker. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia, and I am excited to be playing with some new product this morning with a pretty new to me card design. Last week, my friend Tanya up in New South Wales did a live video showing a W card, which I don't think I'd ever made before. And she did it, what did she use? Oh, she used the Timeless Tulips stamp set. And I was intrigued with it, and I played with it using the Dino Days stamp set. So this is the front, and then when you open it up, it has that 3D, and it's called a W because of this piece, which, you know, when you look at it, it's actually more of an M, as she points out. From the bottom, it's a W. Anyhow, it is. I don't know why they call it a W instead of an M card, but it's a fun fold, and we're going to make one today. I'm going to make one for you today, but I am going to use the Tasteful Touches stamp set. And there it is. It's brand new from this catalog that is now a week old. Yeah, let me put this one aside. And I bought it mostly because I liked the dies that it was bundled with. And when you buy a bundle, you save 10%, so I bought it as a bundle. I do really like this image, and I do really like this one too, and I like the sentiment. So in the end, even though it wasn't one that I would have put at the top of my wish list, I am happy to have it in my stash. And I'm going to do something that's a little more vintage, shabby than is my usual thing today, I think, but it's calling out to me somehow. So yep, this is a cling stamp set, red rubber, and yeah, I'm gonna get started here. I'll go over a few of the basic things with you. You're gonna use a half sheet of cardstock cut vertically and scored in half. It's gonna open like that. This is Rococo Rose, one of the in colors from 2019 to 2021. And then I'm using, for my panels, I'm using crumb cake. So it's, yeah, just somehow the brown and the pink work for me today. So I have 3 of these, one to go, 1, 2, 3, and we'll be decorating those a bit. And then you also need another strip, and it can be with whichever color, whatever color you want. On this one, I did Old Olive to match the base of the card, and I did it a little bit thicker because these squares are going to be a bit bigger than what I'm using today. So this one is probably, or exactly, that one's 4 centimeters wide, and this one is 3 centimeters wide. But we need to score this. Hi, Karen. Glad you could join us. So we're gonna score it. I'm gonna find my cheat sheet here in, it's under the card base. There we go. So I will post this on my blog tomorrow, and I will do my best to have inches measurements as well as centimeters. But to start with, we're scoring at 7.4 and 14.8. And then I could keep going this way out to 22.2, or if I just flip it around, it's 7.4 again, because it's symmetrical. So I will do that. And there we go. And then that folds up in the middle. And that makes your W piece, which we actually put on as an M. Okay. Set that aside for now. And I'm going to do some stamping. So there is the flower. I'm going to bring in 2 bits of Whisper White. I'm going to start with this one and my Rococo Rose. And this is it actually marked as a distinctive stamp? I don't know that it is, but it's got a lot of fine detail in there, so I'm hoping this stamp pad isn't too juicy. I think it's okay. Let's see how we go here. Just gonna stamp that right in there. This is scrap because I'm gonna cut it out. There we go. I think that's the right side placed right to cut out with this circle frame. Yep, that's gonna be just right. Okay. Do that in a moment. And then this one, this is actually what, 9.6 centimeters square. And I will show you at some point why it was 9.6 and not 10. And I'm going to stamp that basically right smack in the middle. And set that aside. Okay. And now I'm gonna cut that out. That's what I'm gonna do first. So bring that in. So, sorry, that shakes the camera, I know. Really, come on, there we go. Okay, so this is going to get mounted. I've pre-cut a scalloped circle. So these are some oldies but goodies. The layering circles dies. They've got the smooth circles and they've got the scallop circles, and they all work to nest with one another, which is great. That's why they're called layering, which is an awesome thing. So I'm going to go ahead and layer this on here. It's just peeking out a little bit, which is what I wanted. See if I can get it even. I love liquid glue because it gives me a moment to scooch things to get it even. There we go. And that is going to wind up sitting on here. So I just wanted to have that done so I have a visual for where I place some of my other stamping. And not sure I'm going to use the feather, but I do like this sprig of leaves, so I'm going to start with that. And I'm stamping tone on tone. This is Crumb Cake ink on Crumb Cake cardstock, and I'm going to stamp one there, I think. The question is whether I'm going to stamp more than one, and I think I am, just off. here. Hi, Nikki. Glad you could join in. Okay, and the other element that's going to go on this card front is going to be this, what do they call it? Scalloped linen ribbon. Also with the Rococo Rose border on it. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep that pretty simple there. Put those aside here. But I am going to add some texture before we mount anything else. So bring my Big Shot back in. I'm looking forward to the new cut and emboss machines that are coming within the next few months, they say. And this is the Tasteful Texture 3D embossing folder. It is from the same In Good Taste suite that the Tasteful Touches stamp set that I'm using is from. And I like the subtle embossing folder. It gives a nice subtle, but a little more than the subtle texture to the cardstock. So let's see how that came out. Yeah. I like that. So that's going to go on there. And that, I think I am going to have it off the edge, but we're going to put some of this underneath. Like about there. Okay, so I'm going to cut some of that. Hello, Paula. Nice to see you. And I'm going to go ahead and use, a lot of times you've seen me before, I take it and I wrap it around to the back and I use sticky tape to stick it on. This winds up with so many layers, and this piece that adds bulk. And because this ribbon is good about not fraying too much, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use the tear and tape, and I'm going to apply it across the back here. And I find if I can get my ribbon to be pretty straight as I apply the tear and tape, it goes onto the card pretty straight, which is a good thing, right? So I'll tear that off, and I just like to adhere it down pretty well, burnish it down, and then it's easier to pick up, really. The backing, and I will lay that across there. Like so. And then I'm just going to trim it right up to the edge of the cardstock. And again, it's good about not fraying, and it's adhered all the way down, so I am not worried about that at all. And then I'm going to be able to put that on there. And I think I will go ahead and use dimensionals. I think that's the only place I'm going to use dimensionals on the card. Just, again, there's so much bulk in everything else. So we'll put one there, there. Always use your edges, right? No wastage. And peel that off, and you can see I've put it up from the edge at the bottom because I'm going to trim off a little bit. So there's that. And now I'm going to trim that right up to that edge. And I think this will work beautifully for it. I can just feel that I've got that cardstock, make sure you can see here, cardstock right up to that edge. And it's up against the blade there, so now I can just chop that off. And it's on there perfectly. So that's the front of the card. Oh, except I probably should have done it before I put the ribbon in this on, but I decided kind of just before we went on the air that what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, like I said, I was going to shabby things up a little bit more than I usually do, so I forget about doing some sponging. And this is just about 1/6 of one of our round Stampin' Sponges. I just cut it into probably 6 wedges. And I'm keeping it kind of subtle. I mean, I could get in there and really grungy it all up, but and like I said, I probably should have done this before I put the flower on, but we'll just sort of skip over that spot. It won't show anyway because it's covered. Do a little bit. There we go. Okay, set that aside for now. So that's going to go on the front of our card. Now for the inside panels, I think I'm going to do a little more with this stamp. And this is the part I've had trouble kind of working out, is how much of this I want to do. So I may start and turn over and rework it, but for now, I'm just going to kind of do this. I think I'm just going to go straight across pretty evenly. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. So what are you guys working on? Have you gotten your orders from the new catalog? Are you making up samples? Are you having fun playing? What are you guys doing? My order from last Wednesday, as of this morning, is still in picking. In part, that's because Monday was a public holiday here to honor the Queen of England, or Queen of, Great Britain, anyway, the Queen's birthday, since we are a Commonwealth nation here. We had a public holiday, which was, for me, really not too different from every other day. We are opening up here in Victoria. All grades of schools have gone back into session. We had a couple weeks with just a few of the years attending in person, and the rest still on computer, but now everybody is back. And I think I'm going to go ahead and emboss both of these as well, because I'm liking the look. Just a reminder, when you're using embossing folders, it's always best to put that hinge side through the machine first, because it reduces the stress on the hinge. You don't want your embossing folder cracking open there. So you see I went through that way, and now I'm going to go through this way. Let's try to get that a little bit straighter in there. Oh, your pre-order showed up last week, Nikki. Well, that's good. If you had fun playing. Okay, so there are both of those. So let's see where we are now. We've got this one for the front. And these two are going to go inside. And then this is going to mount on there. So let's get these in place. And I don't know if you can see the sponging. It's kind of subtle, again, because it's tone on tone, but I like it works with this card. So we're going to get that on there. On here. Yeah, that was a little close to the edge. Oh, yuck. Yuck, yuck, hold on. Sorry, gotta get that off my fingers. I don't get it other places. I thought it was just getting the adhesive off of my jeans, but no, the jeans went onto the adhesive. There we go. Phew. Okay. So for this, it is as long as the base here, but we are actually going to adhere it right at the edge of the crumb cake. We're not going to go all the way to the edge of the Rococo Rose, which means it's not going to lie flat. It's going to pop up there in the middle, and that's fine. But we're going to put adhesive on there. I'm putting it up, a couple of millimeters, probably about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Again, this is up to you. There is no right way to do it per se. Put some adhesive on there. Get it straight and even, and again lined up with the edge of the crumb cake panel, not the edge of the card itself. Okay, so that's how that is going to work. Yep, there we go. And then for the inside, we have this panel. And yeah, the folder waffled. Yeah, yes, it's got more texture than subtle embossing folder does, and it's not perfectly regular. What do they call it? Tasteful texture. it's uniformly covered, but it's an irregular pattern. But it kind of waffly. You know, I think of waffles as being pretty regular, so it's not so regular. Okay, so for the inside, I'm doing 4 of the layering squares, and then I have this cut, so when I cut it into 4 quarters, there's going to be a bit of the flower on each quarter. And when I was playing around yesterday with how I wanted this to come out, I'd started with a 10 centimeter square of cardstock, but that gave me squares exactly the same size as this, and if I went up 1 size in the scallop square, they were too big, so I scaled down this square because there's plenty of white space there. So it's 9.6, which means, what did I figure yesterday? It was 8 point, no. Sorry, I've just had a little brain fart and I need to do some math because my brain is not working. So 9.6 divided by 2 is 4.8. Yep. Like I said, it's terrible when the brain just stops working for a moment. So at 4.8 centimeters will give me, will give me the halfway point here. And again, 4.8. I gotta say, things like this is much easier working in metric than in imperial, because you just, it's all decimal and you just divide and multiply, and you don't have to worry about, well, how many eighths is how many sixteenths and what have you. So that's, whoa, terribly sorry there. That's done. So I can mount each of these on one of these squares, and I wanted it to look similar to the border I had with this. So that's why I didn't want to go up a size in my scalloped square. I'm knocking stuff everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue these on. Since they're squares, it doesn't matter what order or which direction. They will rotate as I need them. And in fact, that's not what I wanted to do, but it will work just fine. I'm going to stop this for a moment because I realized I wanted to do a tiny bit more stamping. And I just need to figure out how I want them to be. In that corner. Okay, so I can stamp on these too. So I'm going to use a sentiment out of the same set. It's this "You Are the Best" sentiment, and I've got it on my Stamp-A-Majig, and it's a shame that Stampin' Up! Stopped carrying the Stamp-A-Majig. I have 2 of them. This one's my non-Stampin' Up! Branded one, because it's a really useful tool. Even with the Stamparatus, there are times that this is just much more useful. So I have stamped the sentiment here on this plastic sheet using the jig. And now I'm going to line it up where I want it on here, and I'm putting half of the sentiment on this square, and I'm going to put half on this square. So there's that. And to ink it up so I only have half, I'm getting one of these little bitty Post-it notes, and I'm covering the bottom part. And bring in the ink pad, pull off the Post-it. Pull that out of the way. There we go. You are. Now I clean it. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I can use the same Post-it note. I'm just covering the top part now. Ink the bottom part. And now I'm going to line up. You are the best. This one where I want it. Let's see if we can get that without it moving too much. Sometimes it helps to put a dot of removable adhesive on the back to hold that. In place. So this is removable Tombow tape runner. You can get, Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry any of the removable adhesives, so you can buy whatever brand you want, but I find it useful sometimes to get things to stay in place while I'm working on them. There we go. Take the Post-it off, line that up. You are the best. There we go. Out of the way, close the ink. Okay, now we can finish mounting these up. So this is just my brainchild to have these little bits of flower on each panel facing different ways. Oh, come on, stop sliding so much. I want you to be slidey, but then stop when I want you to. That one's got the adhesive and that can just stay there. There's number 4. So the strategy here is the 2 that are in the middle of this panel, which, remember, it stays popped up, are not ones that you would necessarily write on. But these on the end, you could. So we'll put that one on there. And that one I'm gluing fully. And this one I'm going to glue fully. this one, just adhesive at the bottom, because now we're going to line it up best we can. Can you hear me? I don't want to be yelling into the phone, and it is right here by my head, but sometimes I realize I'm talking very quietly. So, hi Lisa, nice to see you today. Hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy. I see Arizona is having a spike in COVID cases. I can't say I'm surprised, but I am sad about that. So that's how that works. And then this is going to go on the front. Good, Karen, thank you. And just line that one up. So I think this needs some bling of some kind. So I am going to pull out some pearls. So I'm going to take some of these pearls, and I've got this is my Rococo Rose, my dark Rococo Rose Stamp and Blend, and I can it comes out very magenta, doesn't it? Let's try the light one. See how that comes out. What, are you going to be too subtle now? Light is really weird. Sorry, I'm putting that right in your frame of view. That might be the best bet. I think we're going to go with these. So these are some these are Share What You Love artisan pearls. And I can't remember what color these are supposed to be, but I think they will work pretty nicely here. Okay, that is that, I think. What do you think? I'm pretty pleased with that. So here's my kiddo version. And this one I use the what do they call it? Old paper. I'm still learning the new names of things. embossing folders. Old World paper. This one's got Old World paper here, but I think it looks kind of stone-like, so I liked it back there behind the dinosaur. But I didn't on the inside. And then here's this one. They're very different looks for the same design. I did use the same ribbon in different colors. Yeah, I like that. And if you really felt like you needed to be able to write a whole novel, you could always add a white panel to the back there and write some more. But you know, for me, I would say, dear friend, whatever the friend's name is, you are the best. I miss you a lot, Nancy. That sort of thing. So yeah, I hope you like that. I will have some stuff up on my blog tomorrow with measurements, and yeah, hopefully you'll give one of these a try. I would love to see, if you try stuff that is inspired by what I do, I would love pictures. You can send it to me in Messenger. You can post it on the comments for the video that it relates to, or just post it somewhere on my Nancy's Nifty Notes Facebook page. Love to see what other people make. And it's, you know, I love to see whatever people make anyway, but especially if it's been inspired by something I've shown you here. So yeah, have a great week. Stamp away, have fun. I hope your orders from the new catalogs arrive quickly and you can start playing with your new products. I'm definitely looking forward to mine. I don't think I'll get mine until sometime next week at this point, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. If I get it, I'll pop back on, or when I get it, I will pop back on with another unboxing video. So look for that. And if you haven't checked whatever you need to get notified when I go live, be sure to find that and do that so you don't miss anything. And I will talk to you all next week, if not before. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.